Good afternoon and welcome back to another SLG Meetup. Now I'm super excited for today's guest because she's also here from Miami, and I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with her face since she's one of the main cast at the Real Housewives of Miami. Now not only that, but she's also been named the top planner by Vogue magazine, and she's been doing some of the most amazing styles when it comes to events here in Miami and in other locations. So
Hello there.
Guerdy Abraira, what's happening, girl? How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Phenomenal. I'm super excited to be doing this because you are a very, very famous person here in Miami, huh? So I'm glad that we get to speak.
Are you sure? I don't think so.
Now, I'm super thrilled about today's call because what we're going to be talking about is a little bit about not just what you've been doing in the Real Housewives of Miami, but also the event planning. I mean, you've been named event planner top of the line when it comes to what you're doing by Vogue magazine, and some of the things that you've been doing are amazing. So I don't know where to start, but I will just ask you. So how is it, being in Miami and being in the Real Housewives of Miami?
It's a ride. Definitely, I call it a ride. There's ups, there's downs, there's lots of turns. It's been really amazing and a really great experience for me to self-learn about exactly who I am as a person. And everyone, I wouldn't be where I am if I didn't grow. So I feel like, every single situation that I'm put in, I use it as a growing experience for me. So it's been really, really fun meeting all these girls, many of them who I've known socially for years, and just to come together to create this amazing impression for our Miami people. It's really incredible. The diversity here is undeniable.
I'm sure there is, a lot of things that are behind the scenes that are not being shown in there, but what a ride, huh?
It is definitely a ride. And, the thing about it is that it's as real as it's going to get, so some people, like I've heard rumors like, oh, it must be somewhat scripted. It really isn't. It's just a dynamic of different people. And when you get a bunch of alpha women together in the same room, everyone's going to want to have things their way, and you're going to have to hash it out to get that respect. So that's what it is. Yeah. And this is my second season. So they've been around for many years. And then this is the reboot. So last season was the season 4. And then now we're going into season 5. And that's going to be even more dramatic.
I see that. I saw the trailer. Now I encourage everybody to follow Guerdy Design on Instagram and to keep up with what she's doing, because not only you are a cast member for Real Housewives of Miami, but you also run a very successful event planning company, and you've been doing fantastic on that end. I mean, Miami, out of all places,
oh,
it's a beautiful place to be for that, huh?
It's been amazing. So starting my career on Fisher Island, actually. So speaking about real estate and connecting the dots, right? So that's where my career started. I was director of the catering department. All of a sudden, there was a flower design studio that was, for sale on the island. Knew nothing about flowers, but I had good taste. And so I decided to invest, and I was owner of that flower shop for about 12 years. And then after that, decided to go back on land, I'll call it, because, I wanted to travel more when my kids were older. So I started doing a lot of destination weddings. And now I'm in, Portugal. I just came back from Zinera, which is a compound of a property in Palm Springs, Coachella. And I did this
beautiful
4-day magical experiential event, a wedding. My weddings are experiences. And I'm so proud that everything came out good. I'm always like, I'm as good as my last party. So, one at a time.
How important has been for you being in the show and maximizing it through social media to build your brand?
It has been. I think for me, it's more about really truly identifying my branding. It's not so much about getting new clients, because one thing with me, it's called a circle of trust. I do business with people who know who I am, who have the trust factor. So they come to me and say, Guerdy, you did my best friend's wedding. You did my sister's wedding. I'm a legacy planner. I've done weddings for 3 of the 5 children and 2 more to come. So that's the kind of stamp I have. It's all about quality, not quantity. So I used to do, for example, 20 weddings a year. And I am now I have 2 weddings left, and this is between now and 2023. So now I'm scaling it so that it's really more quality oriented. 1 wedding, equivalent of 10 weddings, but it's a massive, amazing project. And I'm happy, my client's happy, and we go through this journey together. So people think that I'm not doing any more weddings. It's not true. It's just that I'm really kind of making sure that my time is spent well, and that I'm happy with the project, and I'm not just running a factory. So Guerdy, it can't be a Guerdy event if Guerdy's not there. So call it Guerdified. Guerdy's got to be
Guerdified. I love that.
Guerdified. Yeah.
Hashtag certified. Yes, I
Oh
love it.
yes, it's out there. Trust me.
It's out there. Yeah. No, for sure. No, but that's awesome. So walk us through a little bit on what it takes to put together such an amazing experience with the events that you put.
Um, it takes a very strong person and personality, which I think I have for sure. Just because the clientele that I serve is not really, they're very experienced people. So they've already done amazing events for, for the children or themselves back, before they even met me. And so when they come to me, they have a very high expectation. Again, I started with doing weddings for people on Fisher Island, which is really the 1% of the world. So you have to be culturally aware, number one, very respectfully culturally aware. And they call me Rabbi Guerdy, and I'm not Jewish, so it's one of those things where you create a market for yourself. And once people understand your brand and how you operate, then it's becoming this amazing niche, right? So for me, I created this niche by having this clientele already, by investing in my flower studio, and then being able to literally have a referral-based business. And that's really, truly the most amazing thing, because, in the phone calls, when you pick up a phone, that it's going to be someone who's already pre-qualified. So
Yeah.
we're not wasting time with a bunch of leads from Google search. That would be the dumbest thing ever, because I'll be on the phone with 100 brides a day,
Yeah.
with not being able to qualify, their expectations and perspectives. So, yeah.
So how do you handle pressure?
Well, the good news is that I've been in my business for 20 years. So I said to myself, and I've watched the TV shows out there and the other franchises of Real Housewives, and I said, you know what? It's going to take a big deal for my business to go down, for example. Like sometimes the whole rumor mill, and oh, I heard that this happened and this happened at this event. I'm like, you know what? The people who know me, they know that this is not going to be, a Guerdy production type of thing. And so I think that the branding helps, and the years in the market that I'm in has helped solidify this kind of sphere of influence of people who know who I am and who know what I do and the quality and the level. So the pressure is definitely on, because I have to keep it up. The keeping up is what's really the most difficult thing for me, because I'm always trying to elevate what's next. And I am a very particular person with a very high taste level. So I try to actually please myself. And it's like this, running mill that I'm on. So I try not to focus to the left, to the right. I say to people, I am in my own tunnel. Okay. And so you can go on the highway and do whatever you got to do over there, but I'm in my own tunnel. So I don't really have to worry about that. So the only person I got to please first is myself and my clients. And with that said, it's one thing at a time. You got to just keep pacing yourself,
So true. So true. Now, you were talking about how you're always elevating yourself and looking for the next thing. How do you find that drive?
It's by inspiration. I'm very, very meticulous to detail. So I'm always looking around, and people know that. The people who know me, they know, they're like, oh my God, I don't even want to invite you to my party because you're going to be looking around. You're going to be something. And it's not true, by the way. I'm very humbly raised. My father was a pastor, drove taxis. My mom was a homemaker. So I'm not, one that has a silver spoon like that. But it's just that I grew up in Paris, born in Haiti, lived around the world, studied in Spain. So I have a very nice, I think, array of a cultural palette, and it shows in the art that I do, the designs, the this and that. And so for me, I just find that it's just, I don't know. I just love to have high expectation, because why not? Why not have them and aim for the stars?
What's been the hardest thing that you've had to face, and what did you learn from it?
Well, the thing is that I dream big, okay? And so I literally, this past weekend was an example of how people are like, this is impossible. And I'm kind of like, no, I see it. It's right there. At Zaniera, this is a compound of a property, amazing. It has 11 villas. It spans literally the size of 17, football fields. And so I walk in, and you would think I would pick the golf course view, the mountain view for the ceremony. No, I go into the dirt land where there's all the date palm trees, and I'm like, this is where you're getting married. And it was like, look at the architecture, just, pace with me. And when my client hires me, they have to understand I have to have creative control, in the sense of like giving you something that you hired me for. I'm not a note taker, I'm an innovator. So let me help innovate your experience at the wedding, So I was able to really kind of show them this amazing projective vision that I had. We literally built up a 4-foot high deck. We created this amazing, tent structure. I mean, I just wanted to really kind of give them what they they hired me for, because I'm not complacent, and I want to make sure that I satisfy everyone across the board and exceed their expectations. So this is an example of really who I am, and you either get it or you don't. And yes, I know there's always the word budget, but I always tell my clients, do we want to do it right? Like, are we going to do it right, or are we just going to half-ass it? Like, it's got to be one or the other. So I'm able to really kind of let them know that this is their family event, and this is a reflection of them as people. So do we want to scale back on this, or do you want to kind of do it right? And doing it right is really usually the best way. And I'm thankful to be able to have the ability to really create like an artist would.
Wow, but you started with something very powerful, the visualization. You manifested it. You saw it already.
Oh, yes.
Even though other people might be like, wow, that's crazy. You saw it. And I think that's the first step to making anything happen. Because things happen twice, right? First in your mind and then in reality.
And in real estate, it's probably the same thing for you. I mean, if you see it, they can build it.
Oh, yeah, no, absolutely. Go for it. Let's go. Now we have like everything with these virtual houses, and you think like, oh my God. And now the architects want to build those houses in reality. But anyways, it's all fantastic stuff. I wanted to ask you about the word luxury, because you obviously are living this amazing luxurious lifestyle. But the word luxury sometimes gets used in so many different ways. And everybody has a different meaning for it. So why is it really luxury to you?
Yeah, I actually don't even use the word. I'm a luxurious event planner. I like the word experiential, because once you see and hear the word experiential, there's a way to interpret that word. And usually it's going to mean that there's been detailed plan. There's a way about things. Everything is made and done for a purpose. I build up. And so I call myself almost like a movie director in a sense, right? So in my head, I'm like, okay, I want them to do this. I want them to turn left. I want them to go through a tunnel. When they get out of the tunnel, there'll be two waiters there, and they're going to open up the curtains. And then, wow, that's what people want. You don't want to go to a wedding and feel like, wait, I don't remember. What was that? It's kind of like when I tell you they just opened the curtains, I was in heaven. Like that. And how they got there was a 2-week conversation, but they would never know it because it looks as if it belonged that way. So that's where the creative in me. And by the way, there's event planners and then there's event designers, right? So that not every party planner knows how to design, does floor plans, rendering, design the actual floral details, recipes for the flowers. I do all of that. And people are always like, oh, you must have a bunch of people working for you and doing it. I'm like, I do have people doing it. They're executing my conceptual design. So I physically, me, myself, do the entire conceptual design. And then I go to the source and say, okay, how can we do this? And then it goes down from there.
And I love the whole analogy of being like a movie producer. Now, are we going to see you produce any movies?
Oh, God, no, not movies. Absolutely not. But, you get to see me produce events. That's the fun part. And it's such a magical thing, because that's how people, I'm like, oh my God, I get married almost every single Saturday. I get to relive a new tale all the time, except obviously my groom has already been, spoken for.
Yeah.
But I love it. I mean, and I have 2 boys. So the best part about my life is that I have such a great balance. I come home and it's like, what do you guys want for dinner? Oh, I don't know, pizza, wings, whatever. And then I go on the phone and talk to my brother. We're talking about purple, and we talk, or my grooms, by the way, we're talking about just beautiful design elements and so forth. So I get to play both sides of my brain. And I love it. I love what I do.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Well, look, I'm super excited to see how things are going for you. Can't wait to see the new season for Real Housewives of Miami. Also, all these amazing events that you're doing. However we can help, we're here for you. And for those watching this now or later on, please make sure to follow her. She's a superstar, and what you've been doing is just very inspirational and empowering for many of us. So I just wanted to wrap this up by asking you, biggest takeaway that you've learned that you would love to share with us?
Literally that tunnel, I'm telling you, that is the most important thing, because it's so easy to get wrapped up and try to like copycat what everyone else is doing. I just love being a unique individual, and I feel like it starts by my voice. To be honest, I feel like I've gone to California, I've gone to Portugal, and people are like, wait, I know your voice, I know that voice. And it's not it's just who I am, but it's just kind of like, I like the unique person that I've become. I used to hate my name, Guerdy. I'm like, Mom, could you have picked like Marie, any other name? And then now I'm obsessed with my name, because there's not that many Guerdy out there. And if you're in the circle of that I'm in, you say Guerdy, they know who it is. So the branding is there. It's just for me to build on it and just create magic around the world, baby.
Aye, magic. Come on, let's get that fire going.
Yes, for magic.
There you go. Well, listen, I really appreciate your time. That was very lovely and very empowering. So I can't wait to see where you're taking it next level. and we're here for you. So we'll get together here in Miami, and I'm sure that we'll end up doing some cool stuff in a nice property with your help. We'll put a really cool event together.
Great. Let's put that in the works. Okay, my friend. Thank you so much for having me. Appreciate it.
All right. Take care. Bye-bye.
Ciao.